Alright, 30 minutes, burpees. Burpees before lunch. Let's go. 26, January 20, 26 I think, or 27, alright. Oh man. Whew. Burpees. The worst exercise. I hate it. But it's the best. So you gotta love it. Gotta love it. What was it? Love the suck? Or, I forget. Love the suck. That guy, David Goggins said something like that. Embrace the suck, yeah, not love it. Anyway, trying to do that, I guess. Oh my god. This is what midlife crisis looks like. Oh man. My kids, they're out of control. Totally out of control. Out of control. You know, I take it to school today. It's like 15-minute drive. No big deal. Just 15 minutes. And they're like, hey Dad, I want to listen to some music. I was like, yeah, what do you want to listen to? And I got two kids. And one of them was like, I want to listen to K-pop Demon Hunters. And the other kid's like, I want to listen to Darth Vader soundtrack. And then they started fighting over who gets to go first. How many songs they get to, play. And we just started arguing. I said, that's it. No more choices. We're not listening to K-pop. We're not listening to Darth Vader. We're not listening to any of those. I just gotta put on the radio. That's it, no choice. That's how it was when I grew up. We had no choice. And we never fought. Because there was no choice. So, yeah, take that freedom. Take that choices. Right? Not doing these kids any good. Making them all, because the more choice you give them, the more reason they get upset. So, no choice for you. Anyway, so, put on the radio. And I was into some songs, some classic. And this song came up. A really famous song called it's by Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. And very catchy song. I mean, I can't believe it's been like 30 years. How long has it been since? I don't even know. Feels like forever ago. Anyway, so my kid's like, yo, Dad, what does she mean by, oops, I did it again? What did she do? Imagine, these kids are third grade, kindergarten. So I was like trying to explain it the best I could, but I really didn't know how. And then I was like, wait a minute, do I even know what that song is about? Because I never really thought about it. And then I thought about it. And I'm like, I think what it's about is like, she's kind of explaining what it's like to be a pretty girl. That when you're a pretty girl, like life is completely different from everyone else's. And you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful how you interact with people. Because they're beautiful. Right? And because of that, everybody wants to be nice. Everybody's like, hey, what's up, Brittany? Hey, what's up, Brittany? Can I do that for you? You wanna hang out? That's all the time. And if she's not careful, she might just naturally be nice. And it's like, hey, have a conversation, or whatever. And then that will make the other guy think, oh, she likes me. Oh, maybe I have a shot at her. You know what I mean? Oh, like Brittany smiled at me. And she said, thank you. Well, that must mean she likes me. And that's the thing, right? Pretty girls, beautiful people, they get that all the time. I don't understand it. But yeah, I get what they're, saying. It's like, yeah, you gotta be careful how you interact with people. You can't just be like nice to everybody, because if you do, they're gonna believe that they're more than just friends. Right? And there goes your, oops, I did it again. Another guy falling in love with me, trying to get with me. And all I did was just be nice to him. This sucks to be pretty. I mean, pros and cons, of course. I don't think the kids understood it. They were like, well, probably better than you don't. They got so much more to go through. Kids, they grow up so fast. And I'm just glad where I live right now is kind of like a big country. We're there away from the whole urban style, I used to live in New York City. And oh man, the kids in those neighborhoods. And yeah, elementary kids in. Man, some of them are like thugged out. They're straight up thugs. They are not behaving like children. Or that's how children act in urban settings, I get it. But not how I grew up, And it's kind of sad because it's like, yeah, shouldn't you guys be like chasing butterflies? I don't know. Catching bugs, digging holes. But they got so fast, I want to try to keep them in that zone as much as possible. Anyway. Alright. We're already 8 minutes in. 20 minutes to go. 22 minutes. I was like doom scrolling, or whatever kids call them these days. Scrolling where you don't even know where you're looking at, you're just scrolling just for the sake of scrolling. And a Goodfellas club. Not Goodfellas, sorry. I think Goodfellas too. Godfather 15. Yeah, both of them. I think I watched one. And they had a scene. And Godfather Part 2. Well, Alfredo, finally gets his forgiveness from Michael Corleone. For betraying him. And, of course, Michael wasn't really trying to forgive him. He was just saying it just to get him closer so he could do his thing. But, Fredo, so sad. And it's kind of like that Roman tragedy. You could feel like that culture's tragic character, tragic hero. And they really made his last scene brutal. I mean, they didn't show the actual part, Actually, they did, right? It wasn't a shadow. But the last thing the line that he was saying was, he was fishing with his nephew or niece. Basically Michael's kid. And Fredo was like taking him out fishing. And Fredo said, he was keep telling, kind of boasting, I guess, to his nephew, like, hey, one time when we went out fishing with the whole family, with Michael, Sonny, Vito Corleone, Mom, whatever. And no one caught a fish except him, Fredo. It's like, no one could catch one except for him, And he's so proud of that moment. And he's like, yeah, something that I was best at. Because it's Fredo. He's like the weakest one. And he's like, yo, you know how I did it? I'll tell you a secret. And he told him, I prayed to Mother Mary 3 times. Something like that. And, you know, that means that it wasn't skill. It was just luck. You know, his one, victory, the one thing that he was best at within his family was that it had no skill involved. It was just luck. And it was so tragic. And it's so sad because he said that and that was it. That was his value to the family, nothing so deep. Really tragic. Great actor. He passed pretty young. What that is he, man? He made me like 5 movies only. And all of them were like super classics. The Home Day, Dog Day Afternoon. I think there's other ones, right? I forget. Was he in Conversation? I'm not sure. Woo! Alright, anyway. 20-minute class. Alright, let's keep going. And with the algorithm on YouTube, they're like, oh, you are gangster shit. Here. I'll give you another one. In Goodfellas. That famous scene where Henry Hill is walking in one of the restaurants. Is it Copacabana Club? I'm not sure. He's walking through, and everybody's like, hey! Actually, they don't say his name. They're like, hey, what's going on, buddy? Hey, what's up? How you doing, guy? And now I don't know if Scorsese did this on purpose, but if you watch that, I could be wrong, but if you watch that, it's a POV, point of view shot of Henry Hill, or we think it's Henry Hill, walking through there and everybody's giving him props. He's a popular guy, they respect him, but that POV shot ends in the back of the restaurant, up by the kitchen, and Henry Hill pops into frame from the right side or the left side, suggesting that POV shot was not Henry Hill's POV. That was not Henry Hill. It was somebody else. And I don't know if you know the controversy of Henry Hill is that, a lot of people came out and said, yeah, like Henry Hill wasn't all that. He took all the stories from all the gangsters and made himself look good, made himself like a real G. But they're all saying, no, he wasn't like that at all. He was a nobody. And Scorsese, he does this kind of thing, also with taxi driver and stuff. Sometimes you don't know if you're just inside the mind of a character, like in Taxi Driver, and how much of it is reality. He models it. So, and that wedding scene with Henry Hill, they first show a wedding ceremony taking place at their home, the Jewish wedding, where they step on the grass. And it's just him and his wife and close family, that's it. And then, supposedly they have a real wedding where all the gangsters come and they're all giving them money or just gifts, I guess. They're all waiting in line to give them these thick ass envelopes full of cash. And they shot that. It's like, is this real? I don't know. Just thought about it. Whew. Oh man. 15 minutes. Half on. Let's go. Burpee before work. Gonna get that sweating. Whew. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. Toyota. Oh man. My Toyota. After driving for 11 years, not even that long, it died. My Toyota, man, that car's been nothing but problems. Horrible. It only had like 100-something thousand left. And the worst of it is, last year I got my engine replaced. And they're like pieces of that, the Toyota. Because I know there's something wrong with that engine, before it failed. Like that engine was burning up way too much oil. I was like pumping oil like every 1,000 miles. And I took it to Toyota like 3 times, like, hey, something's wrong. It's like all that oil keeps disappearing. What's going on? And they're like, well, we checked and there's no leak. Can't find anything wrong with it. The oil's cheap, just keep pumping it in. 1,000 per mile is like standard or something. And then one day, engine did one move. Took it in, they're like, yeah, your engine failed. You get a new engine. What happened? Carbon buildup. Oh. You think maybe that oil burning issue has something to do with this? No. You're the one that told me. It's fine. You just keep pouring it in. And that was before the 100K. And after the 100K, that's when the engine failed. So I can't get in here. I got that deal. After 100K, just can't get it. Got that replaced. Costed me $7,000. And then I'm like, alright, fine, now we got an engine, this car's gonna last at least like what, 10 more years? I don't know. 3 months later, transmission slipping. Take it back, hey, what's going on? Your transmission is failing. You need to replace that. And right now, it's gonna cost you $11,000. Come on. You guys are kidding me. Anyway. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm not gonna obviously fix it. I'm just gonna ride it. Don't die, I guess. And I was hoping that it'll last a year or 2, but nope. 10 months. It died last night, or yesterday. Had to get that thing towed. Now we gotta figure out what to do with that. Gotta get a new car. Happy 2026, y'all. Anyway, I stopped doing math. Doing math, budget math is so depressing. And it is what it is. You just gotta put that math in your favor. So that car, basically, about $7,000. But, about a year after, and then also, we got hit. Some teenager hit us. Did a little damage to the body. And the insurance claim's like, yo, you just want cash? Instead of getting it fixed, we're like, yeah, we'll take the cash. Take the cash, and then you got like $4,000 out of that body damage. Still drive. Since but still drove. So, calculation $4,000. Minus that $3,000. Tax credit, $4,000. And that's how you juke the stats. Change a felony into a misdemeanor, as they say in The Wire. My favorite show. Gotta do it. Anyway, positive mental attitude. Can't think about all that negative stuff. You gotta just keep going. Positive. You know, there's this movie that I saw a while ago. And I thought about it, and I was like, what's that movie about? There was this guy, Brian Adams, the singer. He was in this movie. It was a Russian movie. And the whole movie takes place like in an insane asylum in Russia somewhere. Near the Chechnya border. And I think there's a war going on between Russia and Chechnya. And they kind of get like stuck in the middle where the soldiers like, you know, from both sides come in. And this girl, she's crazy. This is in Russia. And she lives like kind of like in a fantasy world. Where like every man she meets is like her Prince Charming savior. And it's really funny. Brian Adams makes a cameo in this movie. So random. And he plays like a song. Have you ever fallen in love with an actor? But he's in it and he's singing. And she fantasizes about him. But anyway, it's this funny movie. I mean, sad, tragic movie. But it's about like the situation around her. It's so crazy. Because there's a war going on. And all these people in the insane asylum, you know, all the nurses left, all the doctors left. They're just there to defend themselves. And they're so oblivious to what's going on in the world. Because they themselves are crazy, you know? And I don't know, sometimes I feel like that. The world sounds like it's gone crazy. Anyway, we need to get it back in that PMA. Positive frequency. Oh! 50s is coming up. The big 5-0. So, yeah. Doctor visit. It's not gonna be fun at all. Oh. I gotta get all that thing checked. And you gotta stick up the bump. Not really looking forward to that. I already got my colonoscopy though. We got it like 2 years ago. So I gotta go back like every 5 years or something. Hopefully, staying healthy will keep me alive a little longer. The diet. Oh man, the diet. It's important. So, I feel like now there's just too much information for what kind of diet to use. You know? Back in the days it was like vegetarian diet and Atkins diet. And that's about it. Now there's keto, there's paleo, there's carnivore, there's like that. Even within the carnivore, there's like carnivore that allows like fruit, meat-based, fat-based, protein-based, low carb, vegan, raw, I don't know. There's too many. So, what's the proper diet? Because every expert says something completely different. You know, carnivore is like the most, what's the word? Surprising one, that it actually just picked up some steam on it. So you would think, can't be good. And yet, you know, you watch video of people just eating steak only, that's it, they only eat steak. Steak and bacon. And they look good. They do look good. I'm kind of confused because I do like meat. But it's so expensive. You know? And you kind of gotta be able to afford living as a carnivore guy. Is there any like cheaper meats? I don't know. What's like a good budget diet? I guess that's, I gotta be realistic. I gotta use something on my budget. If it costs more than $5 a pound, I don't think I want it. I can't really afford it. Anyway. Oh, speaking of budgets, oh man, I was on Reddit, and I don't know how I found this, but I found some stuff about dumpster diving. And of course, the first reaction is like, dumpster diving? That sounds so ghetto. Anyway, yeah, it just sounds like what homeless people do. But, the hole that they're getting, someone, they like take a picture of what they have, and they're all like, they all look good. Like none of them look dirty, or broken, or whatever. Perfect. Packaged. I don't know, I guess it's just expired or whatever. And made me go like, hey. Hey. Doesn't sound so bad. Especially if it's free. Then I like picture myself like, man, could I do that? And the answer is yes, I could totally do it. I mean, it's probably the first dumpster diving is the hardest, right? To be a little self-conscious about it and climb in there, you know? Bring your own ladder and climb in there. Alright, that's what we got. But I guess what I learned about is that I'll just get used to it. You know? Dumpster diving. Like that'll be just as natural as just me going shopping. And I might desensitize myself in that world. And you know, make that like a Saturday thing with my kids. Just like, hey kids, hey, let's go dumpster diving. Get some free food, alright? You know, hang my kid with the go get that one there. Like a claw machine, you know, using my kids. And yeah, that's the problem. Is that we all get used to the environment, you know, to the habits of doing things. Something that was unthinkable yesterday. You know, all it takes is one try. Repeat that action and then it's like, yeah, the stigma, it's not there anymore. Whatever. Just keep going. One more minute! Alright. You gotta push yourself now. I'm not bullshitting. 30 minutes in. Burpee before. Right. Gotta get everything, get that sweat in. Get that VO2 max. Cardio, muscle something. Muscle fight or something. Bone something. Something. Just gotta get that blood flowing. Nice. Service. One more. Alright. Woo! 30